what is love? What is the feeling you get? What is the importance of it? And why is it so detrimental in a human life? Why do we seek it? Why do we fight wars in the name of love? Why do we push ourselves to the brink all for this thing we call love? I'm 21 years old. I lived what I'd call a pretty good life, aside from minor things, you know. But the one thing I can never understand is love. I don't know if it's maybe I'm just incapable of understanding it, or I just don't understand what the meaning of it is, you know. I know when it comes to my family, I know they love me and I love them. I know what that feels like. When it comes to my hobbies like basketball, I know what that love feels like. But when it comes to friendships and relationships, I'm not understanding what it's supposed to be. You know, I'm at this point in my life, I've been in 2 relationships, and I've tried my best to make them work. I personally never stepped out or lied. I've always tried to be honest within the relationship. I did have faults somewhere. I'm not trying to make myself seem like a saint. You know, nobody's perfect, but whatever the situation was, I always tried to communicate, understand, and figure out how we can make it work. But for whatever reason, it just seems like when it comes to relationship aspect, be it with friends or, you know, a potential whatever, they just cannot pick me the same way I pick them. They don't want to believe in me the same way, you know, I believe in them. So I just question, like, what's the point in love if it's such a fragile thing and it's so tedious to attain? Is it really worth all the time and effort to try to get? You know, I ask myself, is love supposed to be difficult or is it supposed to be easy? You hear all the time, love shouldn't be that hard, it should be easy. But at what point do you find yourself asking the question of, is love really love or is it just comfortability? You know, I always ask myself that, because when I think about marriages, at least some long-term marriages, you might hear at times like, oh, we've been married 46 years, or we've been married 50 years, but we've taken breaks. I don't understand what that, like, what do you mean taking breaks? Then y'all weren't together. And in my eyes, I think if you love something, you wouldn't let it go. Like, I love basketball. By no means am I going to the league, but I'm never gonna let my love for basketball go. That's just, if I love something, why would I let it go? And if it did leave me or I did let it go, was it ever love to begin with, or was it just I was comfortable, you know? So I ask myself that question all the time, because if that's the case, then I can understand it. You know, I can understand why people chase after comfortability. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. But I don't understand if there's really a difference between love and that. I really just think love is comfortability. But I could be wrong. It's the whole point of this. I'm trying to get other people's perspective. And then it also pushes me to, I guess, come to the assumption of whether, is it that love is the image or illusion that a person has of another person? Like, for me, like, was I in love with the image I had of said person in my head, or the illusion that I created of where we could all, you know, be together, have kids, be married, that's it for life, whatever, or this could be my best friend forever? Was it my fault for creating that illusion, and did I fall in love with that illusion instead of the physical representation? And if that's the case, then does everybody go through the same thing? Because if you see somebody attractive, your first thought is, wow, they're attractive, I wouldn't mind getting to know them. Then you get to know them, you learn them a little by a little, but then you're adapting to each other. You're thinking, okay, I want this person to do these things for me. You come into the relationship with rules, and then you expect them to follow these rules, and then if they don't, you make a decision. But even then, even if they don't follow those rules, some people choose to stay with them people that they know aren't good for them. So it's like, what is love really? And if it's so unique, is it possible that some people just aren't meant to have it or meant to receive it or meant to give it out. Because I think, I'm a very loving person. I think, I show love to everybody. I don't think I push harm out in the world or I try to hurt people, by no means. But I've gotten to a point where it's like, if I'm stressing myself out trying to save another person, or I'm stressing myself out trying to be this good person for this person, and they're not doing the same, or they're not even choosing to be with me, is there really any point in trying to do that anymore? Like, at that point, is it better to just be alone versus trying to pursue a relationship? And like I said, I'm 21, so like, I know I'm young. But if I'm 21 and I haven't came into my prime or into my age or my wisdom or whatever you want to call it, when I do achieve those things and I move from being down here to where I'm, up here now, or even here, will I see the point in allowing somebody to come into my life then? Because at that point, it's like, okay, I was here alone by myself. I managed to get all the way up here alone by myself with no emotional support from a partner, right? I got here. If I was able to do all this by myself, can I just double that by myself again? And then if I get here, can I just double that again by myself? Then if I bring another person into it, now it's like, okay, I'm here. This person could be here. This person could be here. Whatever it is, now I have a whole nother, future and trajectory I got to worry about. And then it's also is that person, coming into my life for me, or are they coming into my life because I've raised the bar and I'm here now? I've never been the type to think that the person I'm with, I have to tell them what they should and shouldn't do. I feel like if you like me, you would just honor me and try not to disrespect me, like if I'm talking to somebody, I wouldn't disrespect them by talking to multiple people or whatever it is. But I guess that's wrong. I guess some people, you have to tell them what it is because they themselves don't know what love is. But if that's the case, there's a quote. I'm not trying to spiral, and I swear I'll be done soon. But, there's a quote in a movie I really like called Perks of Being a Wallflower, and it goes, we accept the love we think we deserve, right? But if you have never been loved or never experienced love with a person who was in a relationship manner, how do you know what you deserve? Because I love myself. Like, not to be cocky or anything. I'm not saying I look the best or I got the most money. I'm not doing that at all. But like, I enjoy I like myself. Like, you feel me? I enjoy myself. But with that being said, if I choose to get in a relationship and it doesn't work, it's the first thing people tell you. Oh, well, they didn't love you anyway, or that wasn't real love. Okay, so if these failed relationships aren't real love, do I myself know what love is? And if I don't know what it is, how can I expect to receive it from another person? But I know I love myself. So do I find myself staying comfortable? It goes back to comfortability. Do I find myself staying comfortable in the fact that I know what it looks like to love myself? Or do I keep risking it and pushing the bar and trying to find other people to love or to be with? Because me personally, when I get a mindset stuck in my head, I tend to stick with it. Like, it's going to take a lot to change my mind. And if I feel like there is no real point in love because all it brings is stress, drama, whatever, why try to grasp it? Because I've had people tell me, like, you're a better man than me, I would have been left. Oh, you love that girl so much, you choosing to stand by her. I've had people tell me, yeah, she's doing you wrong, but you staying there, you got more respect than whatever it is. I've heard the whole you're a great guy type of thing. But if I'm a great guy and I can't ever get love, but all these not great people or whatever keep getting it, why am I still trying to be a great guy then? But that's a terrible way to think, because I don't want to not be a great guy. But if I can't be a great guy and be the same way in a relationship, why would I chase something that's literally going to make me feel like there's no point? It's going to make me think there are terrible people out there. And I don't want to think that, but it's getting tough with the way the world is going. I mean, everything is so materialistic. Everything's over-sexualized. People are users now, manipulators, and it's coming from people that say they're great people or say they're religious or whatever it is. It's coming from the people that we're supposed to trust, you know? And I don't know, I would just, to me, I feel like I'd be more at peace living in my own trust and trusting myself versus trying to have faith and trust other people. You know, I'm Christian, so if I love God and I love myself, what's the point in trying to find other people to love that will only do me wrong? And I don't think it's that I'm choosing them, I just think they're attracted to me. And if I keep trying to save other people that don't want to be saved, how do you stop yourself if you're a natural born savior? I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling. Maybe I'm just crying for the moon at that point. You know, I want to think somebody will eventually choose me for me, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm 21. Things could change in a week. They could change in a year, or they could stay the same. And I just want to hear other people's perspective on it before I kind of isolate myself or find myself getting too comfortable being alone. You know, because I like having conversations with people. It's just some conversations feel like you should speak to other people versus family members or friends because there's a bias there. But yeah, sorry to keep y'all so long. I mean, if you watched the video, I appreciate you. I'll come back in like a week, check the comments, have a response. But like I said, maybe everybody's just crying for the moon at this point, and we all just are chasing an illusion in this world where all good people get taken advantage of, and it's nothing you can do to change that. But yeah, thanks again. I appreciate y'all. Bye.